Hello everyone, welcome to the first video of this series. This one gonna be short, is more of an introduction and preparation of the asset we will be using. As you may know, we will be making a stickman fight mini game. I shared the mini GDD with you guys on Discord. The game loop is very simple. We start in a park and there is arenas that we can access, but they cost money. You start with the cheap ones, you earn money when you defeat enemy waves, and will allow you to unlock a more expensive arena that have higher ranks of enemies. The money can also be spent to buy finisher moves, so it's a very small game loop, but it's well structured. This is something you want to keep in mind when you start a project. I highly advise you guys to start with small game loop and get it done, get it out there before you dive into bigger ideas with bigger scope. Now for the assets, since we have the game loop we want to make, I already looked and prepared what are the assets that are going to help me to achieve this goal. So you want to plan this accordingly. Don't start with the idea and then later on you're lacking some game mechanics that you cannot make yourself or will cost you a lot of time. So have everything planned, have all the assets you want to use ready and well assigned. It's going to help you with your production. And as you can see, this is some detailed description for the game play and for the player, for the enemies, and what we want to make down the road. So you have access on this. The link is on Discord, as I said. You guys can review it and follow along. All right, so go back to our project. And as you can see, I have Combat Fury 5.5 and the Combat Fury version is 1.31, I believe. Alright, so what I did here is something important as well, I'll share with you, is your 3C for the game. So since I know what style I want to make, your character, your camera, and your controls are very important. And this is the first thing the player will judge before dive into your game. So you want to make sure that the style of the camera, like the distance from the player, it match what you're trying to achieve or what you're trying to make. So for this one is a close range combat. As you can see, the camera is not that close, but it's not far either, and a small offset to the side so we can see what's in front of us. If we sprint, there is a field of view that zoom out, and when we stop is zoom back, just to give it a nice immersive feel to the movement. You might not like it, you can get rid of it, but it's there. How did I achieve that? Let me show you. I'm using the new gameplay camera component. So I am casting to the player. We can totally ignore this for now. We can include it into this interface. But I cast and I pulled. If we're sprinting, I choose the camera rig with the higher field of view. If I'm not, I choose different camera rig with lower field of view. Very simple, but they all have the same offset. Alright, now let's go to our character. We have stickman mesh here. You can get this mesh from my Gumroad page. The mesh in the skeleton is rigged and scaled to Unreal Engine 4 character or mannequin. So what we'll do, we can just skeleton, assign, and we can look for our gasp mannequin right here, and we just save all. So now that we have this, we can go to our character and we can simply go to skeletal mesh and go back to stickman mesh, and assign our new mesh. There you go. Alright, let's give it a test. There you go. Our new stickman is ready. Perfect. The next step is we want to initiate the weapons. In our case, we're not using weapons, but we are actually going to be using gloves as weapons. So what we need to do is go to player controller, and we want to disconnect this function. We don't want to call it from the controller, but we want to call it inside our child blueprint so we can get access easily to the skeletal mesh, because the actual glove or the weapon will be attached to this and not the default mesh. So we need to assign it to this. So what we'll do is we're gonna look for possessed, event possessed, and right click and call parent. The reason we call parent is because we don't want to override what we have here. As you can see, we're already calling it here, so we want to call the parent and add on top of it. So as you can see, we have here. The next thing, it's easy combo buffering, and we want to call initiate weapon state. So here we can attach the mesh, so we can play our montages on the main one, but we want to attach the gloves or the weapons to the skeletal mesh. So we're going to double click on this, and we will add a new visual mesh, and we're going to call it vmesh, and simply drag it, drop it here. And add a new pin as vmesh. Now what we want to do is we're going to search for the main mesh, and we are not going to touch the montage because we want to play on the parent, and we want to change anything that to do with attaching the weapon to the mesh. So now that we have our vmesh, we can drag the skeletal mesh that we can see in the game and add there. Comment, initiate weapons, gloves. Perfect. So that's done. The next step is we want to add the gloves to our new mesh. So what I'll do is we're gonna create a socket, add socket. We're gonna call this glove L, and we're gonna go to weapon R. Let's remove this one. Call it glove R, and let's preview our gloves. Fist L, and fist R, and I can scale the actual socket. If we scale the socket, you'll scale the mesh, the weapon. So we do want to scale this. We'll go 1.5 all across. Give him a dramatic gloves. I think that's perfect. Looks great. Right, so the next step is we're going to go to weapon state. I'm going to open it up. We don't need this one. I'm going to change the name to glove. And unarmed will stay unarmed. For glove, we're going to look for glove R for fist R for the main weapon. And we're going to do for the left, fist left. Now for the grip, we're going to say glove R, and for verify that we have our current weapons. So as you can see, we have only unarmed. Then we can sit in glove. Is it gloves or gloves? We'll check. Let's check the proper naming. Glove. For the holster, I want to make the gloves invisible on holster, so we don't need this. We can remove this. Okay, let's give it a test and see where do we have. So they're showing at the floor, and that's because there is no socket that's been assigned to. So what we can do is go to easy combo buffering, and in event graph, as you can see, we have a holster here. So what we could do is visibility. Set visibility for the weapon mesh. And copy this. Let's take a look. So this one will make one disappear. The other one is in the actual weapon. So let's go search for weapon BP. And event. So right here, second weapon, we'll just go see holster second weapon. So we can here go for same thing, set visibility, and for weapon mesh, drop it there. We can clean this up a little bit. Okay, so now if we play, as you can see, they're both hidden, which is perfect, but when we switch to draw, we want to make them visible. So I'm gonna extend this a bit, probably here, and set visibility, weapon mesh, set it to new visibility, and we're gonna do the same for the second. So right here, set visibility, new. So I'm gonna show you something here because I would like to do the steps with you, so when you do it yourself and it's not working, you know exactly why. So Right now they're not visible. If I press R to equip, they're visible, but if I holster, they're on the floor again. That's because we need to go to draw weapon right here. Sorry, holster, and we have to do the same. We have to hide them again. So let's hide them. So on the holster we hide, and on the draw we show them. So set visibility, weapon mesh, and keep it false. We do the same for second, set visibility, weapon mesh. Alright, let's test. Now press R to equip. We're ready. Press. They're gone. The next video we're gonna do the stance, and we're gonna start with setting up our combos. Alright, until then, thank you for watching and stay tuned.